Boom. There we are.
On live again. Excellent. So if you just joined us tonight on Facebook, this is attempt number 2. Usual tech issues. We're getting it sorted. Apparently, I've been booted off Facebook for the popularity of our evening chat shows, but we might be being sent a bill by Facebook to have to pay for this. But anyway, we'll see what happens. So Rupert, we're just talking about the integrity of the one-handed backhand in intermediate players. So just recap on beginners. Are there key things that you'd say beginners need to look out for when it comes to learning the one-handed backhand?
Yeah, so I said, so for beginners, it's definitely keeping the left hand in contact with the racket all the way through the setup as a right-handed player, and vice versa, obviously, as a left-handed player. I think the stability that gives you and the consistency in the setup, which is so important to then get a consistent swing, it's massive. So, and then we spoke about intermediate players. We were sort of saying how we don't want to rotate too much. So I think as players maybe get that a little bit more confident and see it working, they start to rotate too much and open the body up on the finish, which isn't something you want to be doing at that early sort of stage. You know, you can get a very, very good result without that extra rotation on the finish. You don't really want to be doing that because you will lose control. So yeah, just saying sort of the differences there between that and a forehand or a two-handed backhand, where we definitely rotate more on the finish.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, so what about the more advanced players and more seasoned tennis professionals? What kind of things what pitfalls do you think they have in their game that allow issues to creep in with the one-handed backhand in particular?
I think the main one's going to be injury. If you look at some of those guys who've hit those big one-handed backhands over time, it's injuries in the wrist and the forearm. So because of all the stress that, you know, in their whole game is going through that right arm or left arm, whichever hand they use. So where the workload is shared with a two-handed backhand, there's a lot of stress, especially hitting a one-handed backhand. Obviously, you're using different muscles than when you hit your forehand. So yeah, you're putting the body under quite a lot of stress, especially when obviously they're playing so much. So yeah, definitely injury. And again, at club level, you get that where players are holding the racket too tight, and when they're playing a lot, maybe a slightly high level, that's definitely something that affects the amount they get injured or the severity of the injury as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I guess the common, do you see many tennis injuries?
I mean, yeah, coaching at a tennis club, of course, you see all sorts. But I obviously try and keep my clients as healthy as possible, and a lot of that comes from sort of making technical changes. You know, as soon as any sort of niggles creep in there, but yeah, try and. I think for me, when you're teaching technique, one of the biggest things is injury prevention. You know, these people are trying to play tennis as part of their social life. It's part of their enjoyment. You know, so it's a balance of getting the fastest improvement with also getting that longevity of playing. So you know, there's no point someone getting amazing in 3 months if you've given them a technique that 6 months down the line is going to injure them and put them out for 2 years. You know, yeah. So it's a balance, and I think it's a balance that we need to remember definitely.
Yeah. Perfect balance, isn't it?
It's the perfect balance. I didn't even think. I wasn't even.
Yeah. It's time to have my T-shirt on, isn't it?
Got some great T-shirts. Look at us, Kitbag coaching.
Where's my logo? Excellent, good stuff. Yeah. So I mean, tennis injuries are rife really because tennis is notoriously technically a very difficult sport to play because you've got a lot of different components to it. You've got strength, speed, stamina. You've got power when it comes to hitting the ball, power and acceleration. You've also got timing, which I believe is where I certainly see a lot of people with single-handed backhands where timing seems to be the issue. So just poor contact, poor foot positioning. I'd say probably more so than not. It's that footwork around the ball that's the real problem because of their contact position and just hitting the ball a bit too close to them or really too far away from them to kind of get the good contact on the strings. But Rupert, we're going to go through some technical aspects, aren't we, tonight? So you've got some videos lined up for us to have a look at, some one-handed backhands examples,
yeah,
one-handed backhand technical aspects as well.
Do you want me to get those up now?
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Okay. What do you want first? You want the slow-mo videos?
Which thing would be best?
Let's go. You know what I've done? I've lost it. It was going to show you Wawrinka. So I mean, this is what. Can you see this?
Yeah.
So what you're going to see is the rotation we were speaking about, which at club level I wouldn't advise. Obviously, like you just said about the timing of these guys is incredible. You know, why is this showing us a slice? It's not meant to be a slice. Don't want to see a slice. So you can see there what we speak about with the left arm, and that's a fundamental part of the technique you'll see from beginners with good technique through to the guys at the top. If you watch how his left hand is still in contact with the racket, even now, it's only as he starts to accelerate, and that's when he'll also start to allow the racket head to drop down below his handle. That's when he starts to release with the left hand. So you can see there his hand is actually still in contact. And only then it releases, and that's where all the stability and power comes from. You know, if you don't know to look for it, then you wouldn't even think that's why they're leaps and bounds ahead of you. But that's why. That's one of the fundamental differences between these guys and a lot of club level players. I feel it's such a simple thing to implement. You know, it's not rocket science technique. It really isn't rocket science, but you've got to get the right things in at those early stages, and then they follow you through to when everything else improves and you're able to hit the ball better. But you can see again there, it really does stay on until the very last second when he accelerates. You'll see as well that left arm on the finish. There, sort of spread back. So you can see here he's about to rotate slightly, which obviously, like I said, at club level we would look to avoid. But you can see the left arm almost pulls back to slow that rotation, try and counter the rotation to keep some sort of control. But I mean, Stan's got an incredible backhand. Probably one of the best one-handed backhands of all time, I'd say. There's a slice. Don't want to see a slice. Show you one more. Let's slice again. Rubbish at this, aren't I? I should know exactly when to skip to. Yeah, so again, like I say, I mean, the two main things for me are keeping that left hand on for as long as possible and not rotating too much. But if I now show you, so I'm now just going to show you a clip from one of our intermediate courses, if that's all right, Steve.
Yeah, of course.
So I won't play the sound, but basically I'm just hi guys. So I don't always shout, I promise. In this drill, basically it's about decision making. So we are going through whether we want to attack, rally, or defend. So more advanced players out there are probably thinking rally's not even a thing. It's called trading. Trading, rallying, it's our neutral ball. We're not trying to attack. We're also not trying to defend. So it's a really good drill I like to do with clients of all levels, really. Before you hit the ball, you have to call whether you're going to rally, attack, or defend, because it makes you accountable, but it also, makes you more conscious of what you're about to do, and therefore you will change, the way you're hitting the ball in order to get that sort of tactical outcome that you're looking for. So on this particular part of this course, we were working on changing the hitting zone dependent on what we're trying to do. So you can see there that was obviously a more aggressive backhand off a shorter, higher ball. So I've flattened the path off. Whereas that was a rally ball, you can see on this last one, stepping in, taking it more sort of chest to shoulder height. And we were speaking about when we would do that and why. If it's a short ball, it's important to contact slightly higher because you want to be aggressive, and you can only get the ball in when you're being aggressive if you get that high contact point. If you let the ball drop, you've got to be coming up the back of it to get the dip. So, yeah, that was just one part of a 12-lesson course there on the backhand. So enough of that. Back to us.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
are there particular parts of the backhand that you break it down into? So I know most of the courses on Kitbag are split into 12 to 14 videos. Is it similar for the backhand, the single-handed backhand?
Yeah, so beginner level, yeah, I think we've got 14 videos, starting with intro, and then we go grip, ready position, unit turn, racket preparation, dropping the racket head, accelerating to contact point finish, stance, movement to the ball, recovery, demo, summary, I think, something like that. So yeah, it's very much broken down into the fundamentals that we, over years and years and thousands of hours of coaching, we've worked out to be the sort of the blueprint, I guess you could call it, for a good one-handed backhand, as we have done with all the shots. The intermediate level course, which is more, so that's what I was actually filming there. That's more now moving it on. So once you've got that foundation, we then move you on to learning a bit more about how to apply it into a game. So obviously, when you're a beginner, learning techniques is so important because you don't want to get injured and you want to be efficient as well. You don't want to be knackering yourself sort of every rally where you're using a technique that's just not efficient or effective. So for me, it's about efficiency and injury prevention. Like I say, once we've got those two things, that foundation level, you'd move on. And then obviously we're looking more at how we can put it into a game. So decision making, like we speak about there, shot selection, learning to take the ball on the rise, which is a massive skill, obviously, to be able to do that. The benefits that brings, and things like that. So yeah, making it more, being able to apply it into a game, because that's the next stage. Once you have a base level of technique that works and you're not going to get injured from, then it's more about moving it on to, right, let's get this working for you in a game situation. So yeah, that's our sort of philosophy.
That sounds good. So when's the you've obviously got the advanced program coming as well, haven't you, Rupert? So what's the plan? What's the main difference between the intermediate single-handed backhand and the advanced single-handed backhand?
So the advanced will then go on to more in depth, basically how to use it in a game. And obviously it's just everything becomes a bit harder. So we talk about dealing with pace, so hitting that the same, basically trying to get the same result off a harder ball. So, or off a heavier ball. So a lot of good players, obviously, if you're learning at the advanced level, we're assuming that you're playing sort of team tennis or above. So, at that level, people, if you've got a one-handed backhand, will try and aim to your backhand. They'll try and kick it up high to your backhand, especially if you play on clay or hard courts. That tends to be what people will do because it is a weakness. Even Roger has that weakness. It's really hard to hit well off a high backhand as a one-handed player. So it's things like that. So dealing with that sort of depth and height of ball, being able to attack from more situations rather than just a short high ball, being able to put them under pressure from the baseline with your backhand, returning better with a backhand. So yeah, we move on to quite sort of advanced level stuff, but yeah, again, it's all a slow transition through the stages, so it all works.
Exciting, really exciting. So where do you cover the footwork aspects of the backhand in the program? Where are there different elements of it? Because obviously there's moving to the ball, there's moving around the ball, there's the follow through aspect of the footwork as well. Do you cover all of those in the programs as well?
Yeah, so we speak about footwork within each program. So obviously you speak about stance, we speak about movement to the ball, recovery in particular, those three. But then we have obviously got bespoke courses tailor-made to each footwork. So we've got a recovery course, we've got movement to the ball at the net, movement at the baseline, lateral movement, forwards movement, speed, agility. We've got a power-based one, so things like loading through the legs on serve and stuff. So yeah, we've got all those things there as well. But within each course, definitely we speak about footwork because you shouldn't be having to go and purchase another course solely on footwork to get that, because it is a fundamental part of the technique. So we obviously touch on the relevant areas of the footwork for each shot, for example, the one-handed backhand. But of course, if you want to, go and get a more well-rounded whole aspect of recovering, for example, then yeah, we've got courses for that as well.
I think good, very good. So you've got a busy week planned, Rupert?
Busy. I've had a busy Monday. I've had an absolute joke of a haircut again. This is what lockdown's doing. This is the third attempt.
Practicing.
I won't show you the back. There's just no hair to about here. What else have I done today? Yeah, it's been bad. It's been bad. I ruined a chicken pie.
We're trying to cook it.
I love cooking. I'm very good at cooking, but the one thing I've never done is cooked pie with pastry. But you meant to egg wash the top. I just literally poured a whole raw egg on top. So we had a chicken pie with a fried egg on top. It's quite impressive. What else have I done? I hoovered. What else? We got our delivery of t-shirts, Steve. More exciting. So we've got a lot of Kitbag merch to be sending out to our first couple hundred customers, or our next couple hundred customers. What else?
All strings and rackets, isn't it?
All systems go, mate. Still trying to get a bit of yoga in now and then, on your advice.
How are you getting on with your injury?
Yeah, well, I think I overcompensated with my right leg when I hurt my left leg because my right calf now hurts. My gastro, so. See what happens. I've got my new running shoes though, so that might help.
Excellent, good stuff. Good. So Rupert, how can people get hold of Kitbag coaching if they'd like to trial the initial pack?
So if you go to the website, it is www.kitbagcoaching.com. I'm sure Steve will leave a link somewhere in this afterwards. Or if you head over to Instagram, if you're on Instagram, and if you're really bored, just come and watch some of my videos over at Instagram. But no, on a serious note, we've got loads of tutorials over there, loads of free content going up pretty much daily. We've just had a bit of a spring clean on there. So yeah, from next week, it's going to look pretty cool with lots and lots of tutorials, tips, tricks. Got a tutorial on the hot dog due to popular demand because, well, who doesn't want to learn how to hit a hot dog? I mean, why wouldn't you?
Broken ankles.
But yeah, no, we've got tutorials. We've got technical tutorials every Tuesday, tactical tutorials every Thursday. They're all under 1 minute, so you haven't got to listen to me like you are now and get completely bored. So yeah, all good. And then we've got competitions, and yeah, all stuff tennis related, really. I've really sold it, haven't I? I've really sold the Instagram there.
You need to work on that a little bit. It's getting there.
Well, we've reached 307,000 followers, so I don't really need to big it up. But if you don't believe me, go and check it out, give us a follow, and then see how many followers we've got.
Well, pretty busy, hasn't it, over there on Instagram?
It's getting there.
Excellent. Listen, it's been great talking to you again, Rupert. Look forward to talking to you on Friday for some more tennis talk at Perfect Balance Power Hour. So what have we got on this week? So this week we've got a couple of really exciting things happening on the Power Hour. So we've Shamima, who's she works for the LTA and she does some performance psychology. So she's going to be coming and talking about her work with Stan, our running coach, on Wednesday evening. So that's very exciting. So if you've got some time Wednesday evening between 7 and 8, with tech allowing, then join in for the Power Hour, and we'd love to have you along. We've also got one of our Premiership footballers coming online to talk to you guys about what it's like to play Premiership football, and also to come and talk about some of the things that we've been getting on with them and doing them behind the scenes to get them ready for going back to this next coming season in the Premiership. So we'd be really excited to have you along to listen to some of our Premiership footballers talk. I think we've got one this week and we've got one next week as well, so I'm very excited to invite them on. And please join us for the evening's Power Hour. That will be at 7 o'clock sharp, so I don't want to mess them about. I'm not Rupert. Excellent. Listen, Rupert, it's been great. Thanks for the
Joe, I'm usually not on time for things, but every time we've been late, it's been on you. I'm not even. You can't lie to the people. Don't lie to the people.
It's the tech that lets me down, so sorry about that.
Can't believe it.
Rupert, listen, it's been great seeing you again tonight, and it's been even better seeing you guys on Facebook. And we look forward to seeing you again on the Perfect Balance Clinic Power Hour tomorrow night. See you guys.
Very good. See you later.